Hello guys, and welcome to another Legio IX Hispania replay guys. I'm bringing you another faction focus as the British forces on the Lost Glider approach. I'm just going to be teaching you some basic things about the British forces, how they are used, what's the best way to use them, etc. So first we're going to talk about the base compilation. The base is completely different to how the OKWs was that we looked in our last video. It has two buildings and two weapon ranks. The first building is the platoon command post. The second building is the company command post. The platoon command post is you get your engineer, you get your sniper rifle, your 6-pounder anti-tank gun, your 3-inch mortar emplacement, and you have the option to upgrade for an armoured car or a Bofors emplacement as you choose, which I'll be showing you. Next is the the company command post, which lets you recruit the following. You can get your Centaur AA tank, which is good against infantry, your Cromwell cruiser tank, which is good against tanks, your Sherman Firefly, which is good against tanks, your quarter-pounder gun emplacement, which is very good against armour. However, you've got to be very careful. And next of all, we have you get to use an upgrade on the. You get to do an upgrade on that building to either have the Churchill heavy tank or the Comet heavy tank. Well, it's not a heavy tank. The Churchill is a heavy tank, the Comet is classed as a medium tank, such as a Panther, even though it should be a heavy tank. Okay, so if we look at the platoon command post, we have the option to have an upgrade to requisition the armoured car or the Bofors. I'm going to go for the armoured car because that is what I use. Same with the Nova Commander West. It's always good for your British infantry to go to sandbag position it captures. The universal carriers can't capture points, but we'll get onto that. The British infantry sections are very good at long range. They can be upgraded with a 5th man, which is here, bolster infantry squad, which does cost a little bit of fuel, but that is it. However, it gets a cover combat bonus, so when it's ever in medium or heavy cover, it gets this bonus increase, so it increases the rate of fire. So basically, at heavy cover, this unit will beat almost any other unit at a long range, give or take, probably a very elite Jaeger light infantry, something very elite, I would say, we can take it off. So, next of all, we have the Vickers heavy machine gun. It has a very nice rate of fire. Probably the biggest arc in the game and the longest range if you add in buildings. It's a very, very good tank. Not very good tank, so it's a very, very good machine gun. Sorry. It doesn't have an armor-piercing yarn ability. That's one of its bad parts. However, it does make up for this by doing simple things. It has a native armor-piercing round in it. So 1 in every 4 rounds will be an armor-piercing round. This is an easy AI, so I'll do my best. So next, right, we have the Royal Engineers, which are your engineers. These are probably the second best engineers that aren't doctrine specific, in my opinion. I think they'll beat a rear echelon, they'll beat a pioneer, but they won't. I think they would lose to a Stern Pioneer. However, you can upgrade them with Bren guns and Pier guns if requested, and are able to build mine, razor wires, forward assembly positions, which I will show you one of them, and mortar emplacements, which I will also show you. Next, I'm going to show the sniper and the anti-tank gun. Also, all British infantry sections do have the opportunity to be able to build a fuel cache on them, which is very important because it lets you build resources a lot quicker than enemy units usually do. Next, we've got the Universal Carrier. This is like an upgraded Kubelwagen. It can take more and it can deal more than the Kubelwagen. However, it is slightly more expensive. Hence why it's more expensive. So you can be upgraded with 2 things. The Vickers mounted. I don't really like it, but it does good at range. Or the Flamethrower, which is a lot of damage against infantry at a range as well. It's a very, very good unit. And I believe we have just lost our energy. That's not good.
An HMG crew has been lost.
So now we have our British sniper, which I'm going to show you.
Enemy causing trouble, trying to take one of our points.
The British sniper is different compared to other snipers. It has automatic cloak like for all of them, but it's an anti-tank sniper. And as we'll see, it's the same effect as a normal sniper. It does just as much damage as a normal sniper do. However, it will also do a lot more damage to vehicles, and it also has an ability to coordinated fire, and when it gets to veterancy 1, it has the critical shot upgrade. Also, the infantry sections for the British are very unique. We can get medical supplies, which I will show you. Medical supplies are quite unique for the British, in my opinion, because they have a unique thing where it's not just heals that squad, it can heal all squads around it and nearby it as well. So if I press this button here, it will heal these squads here, but it will also heal any squads around it. So it works as an overall medic, so you don't really need to build medical supplies or medical frontline base that heals your troops. Your men do that. The other one, which I will show my other infantry section that's being trained, has another ability. It's that ability I will show you shortly. Is a prosthetic supplies. The British base is very unique compared to all other types of bases, based on the simple thing of it has 2 big artillery guns on it. And when you throw this smoke down, which the sniper can do as well, for a very cheap amount, it's about 45 munitions. It's very cheap, and you can place it down and get a decent amount of resources from it. And it kills a lot. It does last for quite a while, so it's not very expensive, and it's very cost effective. However, it gets better when you get both. So I recommend not using it until you get it till you unlock your company command post, which is advisable. Okay, so the next unit we're going to look at is this gun that's got killed, unfortunately, but I have remanded with my sexy engineer. We have the Ordnance 6-pound anti-tank gun. This anti-tank gun is a basic anti-tank gun. I believe it is slightly better than the American anti-tank gun with its 6-pound gun. However, what this doesn't have that the American has, it has an armor-piercing round ability, but there's nothing like that. However, the British AT gun at veterancy 3 does get improved penetration as well. So it gets the automatic armor piercing rounds when it gets to veterancy 3 anyways, but it's very hard to get to. When it gets to veterancy 1, it has a rapid maneuver, which is very good at retreating, and it is also really good at maneuvering to make sure you get that last shot of an enemy tank, and can, the majority of the time, cause you to win the game. Okay. The next unit I'm going to discuss is the AEC Mark III 75mm armoured car. This is in my opinion, I'm saying my opinion so everyone doesn't get absolutely frustrated at me. This is probably the best light game vehicle you can get, apart from the SU 76. This will be a scout car. This will be the T-70, and this will be a Noble Commando Panda 2 Luke's up front every time. Its infantry killing capability is not as good as the Luke's. However, its armour is better. As you see, it only took a small amount of damage from the Grenadiers Panzerfaust there. It will do damage, just pretty nice damage to a thing. Probably not as much as the T-70 because its fire rate isn't as good, and probably not as much damage as the Luke's to the infantry, but it's good all round. It will deal with the Luke's, it will deal with everything. It will struggle to deal with a Puma, but if it gets to close range and uses its critical target tread, which will be able to stop the tank moving altogether, so it's available to just flank them pretty much. And it also has a smoke, so if it's getting targeted by AT guns, you can pop this ability here. Smoke comes out the front, and you can get away without dying, which is probably one of the best things that, in my opinion, makes this better than the Luke's and even better than the Puma in some aspects. The next thing we're going to look at is, when I have it, it will be the enemy. We're going to have to wait for a little bit before we get the thing. For starters, and I'm going to talk a little bit about doctrine specifics and upgrades. So, you have 2 upgrades. You have research weapon rack, which I'm going to do now, your grenades, and your 5th band for your infantry sections and engineer squads, which are very good. And you also have the upgrades for each of them as well, like the engineers get the automatic minesweepers, British infantry sections get the thing. The only reason they have a flamethrower is because I picked up a German one, and the medical supplies, which is very good. I'm losing that engagement with the flamethrower. So, the 3 doctrines I like to use, the 3 units I personally like to use are Commando Regiment. these gives you the small crate operations, the assault, it's very munitions based. So if you've got that constant flow of munitions flowing in on the field, you're sorted. You don't have to worry about it. However, if you're struggling that and you get a lot of you struggle to deal with that early German armour, or that early, you just need some anti-tank. Special weapons regiment is good. You get your Vanguard Operation Crocodile, which is Churchill with a flamethrower. You get your Concentrated Fire Operation, which is a very good. Hold the Line, which is good. It gives all your infantry a defensive bonus, and then all across the map where your infantry is, you'll get a lot of Hawk Typhoon strafing and killing infantry tank. It stops enemy counterattacks in their track. You got the Vanguard Operation, which is a mix of both of them. It gives you the strafing run and the Vanguard tank, but it also gives you the infantry and the raid operations. That gives you a munitions and tank-based operation with manpower put in there for the forward logistics glider. That's why I like it. So, in my opinion, the best way to use the British is to hold out early. You should be able to win the Germans early game. They're quite slow to start off because you will probably get outproduced by Soviets if you ever play in that sort of game. You'll get outproduced by OKW pretty quickly. You'll get outproduced by Wehrmacht early game as well. But what you do is your infantry, well, that's just full across the map. Your infantry will beat a grenadier up front very easily. You've got to watch out for the rifle grenades, but overall, you should be dominating that pretty nicely. Overall, so for the engineers, I'm going to look at some emplacements. So, I'm not a huge fan of the emplacements for the British, but some people are. But I want to show you the more emplacements I do use occasionally, only when the enemy doesn't have a lot of artillery, because this thing cannot deal with artillery. So, for starters, I want to show you the basic mortar pit. And I'm going to equip these guys. I want to equip this squad with a Bren gun just to show you what the Bren gun does and how it functions. I'll get the sniper there for the cover. So the armoured car is relatively good. It's practically a little light tank. I like it. It's very good. Yeah, there's also a doctrine where in there you can get the Valentine light tank as well, which is the best light tank in the game overall. It will beat a Puma, I'm pretty sure, at close range. And long range, the Puma will still have the overall goodness of it. Look at the mortar positions. It gives you 2 mortars in a mortar pit. It gives you mortar barrage, and when you get it to Vet 1, it has creeping smoke barrage. You also have this brace structure ability, so if you're going to get hit by a flame, or you're going to get hit by, I don't know, you're going to get hit by a lot of mortars, a Stuka, a Panzerwerfer, off-map artillery barrage, enemy armors rolling in. Press this ability here. It braces structure for about 30 seconds, and you'll take hardly any damage. You will take damage, but very little. Very little damage at all. The next important I'm going to tell you is the forward retreat point, which is it's not a forward retreat point, it's your forward assembly. It's practically, it provides you with 2 gun mats, so you can supply your men with new guns at the front line all the time. You can refortify your positions with it. You can recruit your men back from it. It's overall pretty nice. And it has a forward retreat point on it as well, so you can get your troops to retreat to it. As well as this, it has one other extra perk to it. When this is built, you see the circle that goes around here. If you place an emplacement anywhere within this circle, it will automatically gain its special ability, which is garrison born if active. Basically, garrison another squad in the mortar pit to fire faster. This automatically gives it that. So the forward assembly is enabling this emplacement to access the garrison bonus without a squad stationed inside it. So you don't have to station a squad inside that to do well. I'll show you the Piet as well. So it's very good. And the other one would be the AT gun on the Bofors emplacement gun, which I can't show you, barely trying to show you the AT. The Bofors emplacement is very good against German. If you're aggressing Germans using a lot of planes straight through to Bofors is good. It's also good if the Germans are going to go light armor and you feel you can control the map, but you need to hold this one point. So let's say you wanted to hold this center star, if it was a star. You place a Bofors emplacement here, and it would literally destroy all infantry and armor early game. However, if the enemy does get mortars, which they probably will do to combat you pretty quickly, that is what they'll do. So Bofors, in my opinion, I don't like using them. Personally, I hate them, but it's all about personal preference at the end of the day. If you like using them, if you can use them well, I've seen people use them well. Personally, I don't like it, but it's up to everyone's opinion. So, after the Bofors emplacement, we have the anti-tank emplacement. It's a bit like the German anti-tank gun, the Pak 43. However, this one is slightly bigger, has a slightly bigger gun. and also has the braceability that the enemy has. Braceability that the motion replacement has as well. So you get that little bonus there as well. So at the moment I'm recruiting my normal company command post now. We've got that, look at that in production. I can show you a bit more of the British tree. Also, guys, let me know what you think about these faction focuses. What company videos do you want to see next? Do you want to see some more company videos? Do you want to branch out into another game? I got Northgard now. You see me all do the review and that, and the giveaway for that. I will be doing another game review in about a couple of weeks' time. That's probably going to be for Herogamy 3 Clash of the Ancients with another giveaway for that game also. So stay tuned, guys. You'll get a chance to possibly win that game. Should be really good. I'm playing it a little bit right now. I want to play it for about a week before I do a review on it. I really like it. And now I'm playing Soviets quite a lot as well for Company Fails to give you a Soviet faction focus in about a week's time also. So, we have our company command post upgraded. And so we have these two upgrades. We have Specialization Hammer, Specialization Anvil. I usually go personally for Hammer, so we'll talk through Anvil first. The Churchill Mark 6 infantry tank. This thing has the same gun as a Cromwell. It is okay. It can pierce an armour of a Panther at the side. It will occasionally pierce its frontal if you're lucky. Its gun is pretty bad at taking out heavy armour. It's good against infantry, and it will win engagement against any medium armour and tank destroyer due to its heavy armour. You also get the heavy engineers. So through specialisation, the Royal Engineers gain the ability to construct and repair twice as fast, and they also become more combat effective. So basically, they'll get a Vickers light machine gun. They'll get to repair quicker. However, they will become very heavy. You also get the airburst shell for the coordinated fire ability, which you throw, which I'll show you that right now. So I'll throw it here, and as we see, the smoke will be thrown. Wherever it is, yep, the smoke will be thrown, and the smoke will appear here, and your base turrets will turn around at the position, and they'll load up, and they'll start firing. It's pretty badass noise actually it makes. Very nice. So on top of that, so they'll get the little airburst ability on top of that, and you get track vehicle. Tank crews will be trained to track enemy vehicles they have hit. Vehicles hit will remain visible for an extended period of time. So if you hit an enemy vehicle, you'll get line of sight on that vehicle for longer. So basically, it gives you a chance for your fireflies or any tank destroyers at the end to keep the last shot off. That costs 15 fuel and 200 manpower, same as the other one. I like using, personally. Oh, sorry, that was I was looking at the wrong one. You get the advanced warning, so capture territory points give increased vision. So, the one I like is the Specialization Hammer. You get the Comet Tank, which is practically the British equivalent of a Panther. I believe the gun is better than the Panther, however the arm is slightly worse in the front, but the same in the side and back, which is really good. I like it, it's quick, it's fast, it packs a punch, I really like it. You got the Gammon Bomb, which is the equivalent of a satchel charge but bigger. It costs a lot. It costs about 80 munitions, I believe, to use, or 70 munition, and a lot of damage. You also have this emergency war speed, so when your tank gets healed by a Royal Engineer, it will automatically get this emergency war speed enabled, and it's really, really good. I really like it. It's like the Blitzkrieg for the Wehrmacht. It's really, really good. Then you get the track vehicle ability, which I've already been through. So, I'm going to show you the Centaur and the Cromwell. Now we have a lot of fuel. And then I'll go through to the Firefly, and we'll see that there is a Stug on the field. And I get to show you, I will engage the Stug, and I'll show you how I tend to do this. So, I'll do the smoke so it doesn't get a good sight of me early. I'll rush through here. Get a shot in the rear of the Stug. The Stug is a good vehicle. This is why I like the armoured car. The Stug will struggle to keep up with me. Hopefully, because my micro is on par, and I should be able to get this little shot off on it. But I need to be very careful. So there we go. So I'm going to get out of there now. I probably am going to lose this armoured car because of it. Yep. Stug, armoured car, the Stug will most likely win. I could have done that, but I wanted to show you what the target attack one would do. Because I'm not building tanks and everything, so the AI probably have a slightly advanced on me. So, This is the Centaur Akak tank, as it's called. It is a 20mm pulse gun. It is a beast of a tank for killing infantry. It wrecks it in half. I have lost squad upon squad to it. I have wiped squad upon squad with it. It is a really good, it's a really good overall unit. It has its two 20mm AA guns. It is a beast at taking down. It is practically an Ostwind, but better in my opinion. I like this better than the Ostwind. This does more damage against infantry, but less against armour than the Ostwind. It also has this ability at Veterancy 1. I'm going to lose the good old thingy there. It also has this thing called Strafing, cost 50 munitions, and it absolutely destroys all infantry. I'll show you, there we go, over here, hitting at this building. Still, even if it's in a building, it still does a lot of damage to it.
Cromwell gun tank, ready for action.
So now I'm going to show you the basic Cromwell gun tank, the bog standard, bulk of the bulk British Forces tank, your basic Panzer IV. Right, we have the Cromwell cruiser tank. This is the main workhorse tank of the British Army with a 75mm gun, slightly worse than the Churchill's, but still packs a punch. It's better at killing infantry than the Panzer IV, but its gun isn't as good at killing tanks as the normal one is. It has this ability called Tank Commander, which provides extra vision, accuracy in the main gun. The squad will learn veterancy faster, so we'll get the Tank Commander. It's fairly cheap, I believe it's only 25 munitions, so every tank you should always get that. So, I'll show you how it works. I'll take out this from the scout car with it. I don't know why it has a scout car. As you see, it has this fire smoke shell, so it doesn't have the phosphor, it doesn't have the basic smoke screen that the enemy tanks do have, but it does have this, and it can be useful because it can also protect other tanks as well, if I wanted to. So we'll show it here by pushing onto this stub here, and we'll destroy this stub pretty quickly. So I put it on prioritised vehicles, as you should always do when you're dealing with enemy armour, until we find this good old stug. So we found the stug, and we're on the stug's rear, so it's going to be very good for us. So there we go. Pierce the stug's armour pretty very. We should pierce a Panther's frontal armour, but it's a good overall tank. So I'll get out of here. Don't destroy the guy's bets just yet, anyways. So the next thing we have on the agenda is I'm going to pick this doctrine. I want to teach you why. This doctrine is a very munitions based, and I just want to show you how very powerful this is by showing you what my favourite one is, and it's called the Air Supremacy Operation. After a long period of time, heavy bombers will attack on there. It's the most expensive or one-off barrage you can do in the entire game. This will kill anything within that circle, unless you're extremely lucky, and it fires over 5 heavy bombers, and just levels the entire place with bombs and everything along that as well, as we'll see. And it really is. So I'm going to show you the last tank before we're going to call it anything. I'll also throw in a glider as well, just to show you guys what the commandos look like and everything like that. So I'm going to pump out the last tank, which I'm going to go through. The other two tanks, the Comet and the Churchills, it's pretty bog standard really, no special abilities really. The Comet gets a command thing. The Churchill at the Veterancy 3 can repair its own damage engine when moving, which is really good. The Crocodile is practically the same as a Churchill, just gets a flamethrower as well as its main gun. Okay, so you got the Commandos. The Commandos are practically the Fallschirmjäger and Stormtroopers of the Germans and OKW. They have the Gleitgammon bomb, which is a very good grenade. I'll show you the damage dealt for that. Obviously, and it also does the one thing that the Soviets do as well. It can plant demolition charges. So no one really expects you to do that as the British. And you get the passive ambush ability. So when you're not in combat, they'll get an increased sprint, and they'll go into combat fire. This gets easier to get into close combat. When you get to Veterancy 1, you get the light smoke grenade to help you deal with those pesky MG positions. So right now we have the Firefly. I'm going to upgrade it with the 6. This is practically your bog standard tank destroyer. This thing is mean. This thing is mean. This thing can pierce anything's frontal armor, any tank. I think, with the exception of maybe a Yag Tiger, an Elephant, and a King Tiger, which will occasionally bounce. Even then, this tank should pierce the frontal armor of most tanks. Make it a cheeky bounce occasionally, but the most of the time, it should always pierce its frontal armor. Pierce a Panther's frontal armor pretty easily, but at the end of the day, it's a Sherman. It can't It can't do any damage against infantry. It can't take a sustained fire. So it's good that you block them up with a Cromwell or a Church or a Comet and use the firefighters in the background, or you use them very at range. So I'll wait until I get 80 munitions and I'll show you this. Basically, the one exception with the Firefighter most tank destroyers don't have. They have these abilities called the Tulip Rocket Strafe. You upgrade, costs 50 to upgrade and another 80 to use. This thing is really good. Let's say you want to kill a tank, but it's not going to stay in a position for very long. Well, the thing is with this, see if we can find a tank to test it on. There may be a tank in the enemy base. We'll have a look. If there isn't, I'll just show you what it does anyways. What it does is, when you press on this, and it has a little narrow area, it's good against buildings, and it's good against vehicles. So I'll fire it against this tank, this building here. But what it does on the vehicle, well, it stuns it. It will be smoke, so you can't shoot through it in the meantime, but it will stun the vehicle, it will stun the tank enough, and do enough damage, that you can go into the normal attack ground ability, even though it's smoky, and you can shoot through, and should be able to hit the tank. Should do anyway. So that's my tutorial, guys, on how to use the British forces, the pros and cons to the British forces, and how I think you should use them. Very defensively, bunker down with your emplacements, get your infantry behind the heavy cover, and you'll always win. Make sure you get a vast array of tanks and all of that. Like, if you think there's something I've missed out, state in the comments below. If you want me to cover anything else that I missed in this video, let me know, and I'll do it in my next faction focus, guys. So thank you for watching, guys, and we'll catch you later.